Hello everyone, I have come to make an announcement. MagBow files are released. There is a GitHub page link in the description of this video, and I'll probably upload this to Thingiverse as well in the coming week. Files are released for the MagBow. It is currently an open beta because there's still a few little tweaks that I'll probably need to make once people start printing them. Like sometimes it's sometimes difficult to get it to start catching, but once you get it to start catching, it starts working very reliably. Um, but it needs a little bit of tweaking once you first build it. In case you don't know what the MagBow is basically a skewer from Caramel Designs with a new front end, stretched to use a caliber and length plunger tube and spring. And it is basically a slam fire mechanism with a bowstring powered return mechanism, I guess you could call it. So you pull it back, it catches the plunger. Pull it back, catches the plunger here, right on that sear. Then you release it. The bow arms bring the priming handle and whatnot forwards, chamber a dart, and then it hits this release arm, which lifts the sear and then releases the plunger, shooting a dart. Um, it feels all like one motion when you're actually using it, even though it's two distinct uh, mechanical things. It's two mechanical motions, but it feels like one thing when you're actually using it because it's so quick. So files are released, open beta. Sometimes if you don't have the bow arms bent back far enough when you tie the string, they don't have enough force to fully bring the mechanism fully forwards and hit the firing sear with enough force to actually release the plunger. That can be fixed by just making the bow arms slightly tighter and more powerful, like bending them back further before you tie the string. Um, there's a few things with this blaster that you need to make sure that you like do. You need to not pull it back far enough to not catch and then release, because that will have a lot more force going forwards, and that might crack parts if you do it too much. But if you pull it back, have the plunger catch, and then release, it's pretty much fine to dry fire it like that. You also need to, when you are done using the blaster, you need to take the string off of one of the bow arms so they're not constantly under tension, because they will lose, the CPVC bow arms will lose their springiness, and then once again it won't have enough force to bring the plunger thing fully forwards and fire. Hardware list for this blaster is in the GitHub page in the video description. Here are all of the prints and all the hardware. We got two grips, one for the top, one for the bottom. Got some of the bits for the back. Got a nice cover for the back that covers up the threaded rod. You got your magazine area, magwell. I'm really proud of this magwell. He uses little plastic teeth here that go into there. So you only really need to use one bolt like this on the top to keep it in, even though there are two screw holes there and there if it is still loose, even after you use that one bolt. This uses a Talon Claw length ramrod, but uses caliber and length spring and plunger tube. It has two pieces of 42.5-inch long CPVC as the bow arms. It uses a caliber and length barrel, 3 caliber and length threaded rods, 1 Talon Claw length threaded rod, 1 caliber and length threaded rod cover, and you need to use the aluminum one or else it won't have enough sturdiness, and the plastic ones degrade over time in the lubricant. Need a little bit of shock cord from Captain Slug, or you can just use rubber bands That's for keeping the sear down. I need a nice tension spring for the sear. Little pin for the trigger to pivot on. 10 nuts. 2 of the longer bolt screw things that Slug has. 2-123 O-rings. 1 dash 016. 2-012 and 1 dash 011. So 11, 12, 16, 1, 2, 3. You need or it's not necessary, but you can have the nice little rubber pad for the front of the plunger right there. And then you need a at least 55-inch long piece of paracord as the bow arm string. And you can make that shorter or longer as need be to get yours to fire reliably. It depends on print tolerances and your environment and all that stuff. So, yep, and it has 19 440 small screws. Yeah, that's pretty much it. If you're having trouble with it not catching, I recommend that you print this heavy sear. Do not print the heavy sear unless you need it. I recommend that you print the normal sear, and if you need if it's not catching, use the heavy sear, and maybe tie your elastic a bit tighter around it. And then there's also 2 barrel collets. So this is what holds the barrel in place. One of these is tighter than the other. I recommend that you use the tight one, and if that doesn't fit, then try the slightly looser one. The tight one works with Captain Slug and Kuryaka barrels. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Blaster is released, open beta, because there's probably a few little tweaks to make, but you can now go download the files and build one if you want. So go do that if you want. Enjoy.